Disciple. Venerable Buddha, I see people often say, if the conditions are right, we meet. When the conditions end, we part. Some carry sadness, blaming the short-lived connection. Some tirelessly wait for a certain fateful connection to arrive and save their lives, and some, searching everywhere, still cannot find a thread of interdependence existing. So, what exactly is this causality that people talk about, venerable world-honored one? The Buddha. My child, I know people often clothe the idea of causality in an idea that is too romantic, too mysterious. They see it as a good luck charm or an invisible thread of destiny that has tightly bound them. But look deeper. Causality is not some random miracle. It is not a supernatural force pulling two strangers together. It is the convergence of countless small and subtle conditions. It is everything that has happened, been planted, and been arranged for things to meet and interact in this very moment. Causality is not a single love story. It is the absolute and complete law that governs all of life. Where not a single leaf can fall from a branch without the consent of the wind, the branch that nurtured it, and the time that passed. Everything relies on each other to arise and continuously transform. That stream of interdependence, that ceaseless connection, is the true nature of causality. When you understand this, you will no longer wait or complain. My child, when people encounter unexpected good fortune, they often smile and call it luck. They talk about meeting the right person, doing the right thing, at the right time. They believe it is a random gift from destiny. But my child, luck is only the bright surface that human eyes see. It is the thin outer shell covering a deeper truth. Look deep inside. Nothing is truly random. Every event, every encounter you call luck is a saucy, ripened result. It is the fruit born from countless seeds you have sown long ago through intention, through words, through seemingly small actions unknown to anyone. If you have sown a wholesome seed and nurtured it with authenticity, when there are enough conditions, enough soil, enough water, and enough light, it will blossom into a beautiful flower right before your eyes. That blossoming is the luck, you see, that causality is the moment when those causes have met all the necessary conditions. They operate completely and subtly in the stream of time, and then suddenly connect in the present moment. When you understand this law, you will no longer view goodness as coincidence. You will know that you are the architect of your own luck by consciously cultivating every day. My child, when you move past the idea of luck, you will see the core truth. Nothing comes naturally in this world. People often wish for a good result without remembering the process of creation, but the world operates by a simple and absolute law. Everything you are receiving today is the ripened result of what you have sown in the past. Imagine your actions as seeds deep in the soil of your mind. That seed could be the joy you gave, the help you secretly provided, or even a harsh word that was spoken. Each seed carries its own energy, quietly waiting for its time. The Baowu cause is the initial seed. Conditions key are the assisting factors, like good soil, gentle rain, sunlight, or care, that help that seed germinate. Conditions can be circumstance, a change in weather, the appearance of a teacher, or even a sudden event. When the cause is strong enough and the conditions are fully converged, the seed is compelled to bear fruit. Causality is the timely and inevitable appointment between cause and effect. If you sow a cause of compassion, but the conditions are not yet ripe. You haven't met the person who needs help. But then one day, when that cause of compassion has grown strong and the condition is the appearance of a suffering person right before your eyes, the act of helping will naturally occur. That meeting is a key connection. Therefore, never underestimate any of your actions. Every thought, every deed is quietly creating the conditions for tomorrow. When you live mindfully, you no longer have to run around seeking conditions about externally, because you know that causality is being created right within your soul in every breath you take. Causality is a perfect arrangement of the universe, showing that there is no waste in the flow of all things. It is the clearest proof of the inseparable interdependence between your past and present. My child, after understanding that causality is not random, but the convergence of cause and condition, some might come and ask me, Venerable World-Honored One, can I actively create favorable conditions for myself? I smile. I ask you in return, do you stop breathing? Do you stop thinking? Do you stop even the smallest action? In reality, you are still creating conditions every day, every hour, every moment, even when you don't realize it. Causality is not a distant gift you must search for, but the very materials you already hold, your thoughts, your words, and your actions. When you hold a thought of compassion in your heart, you are planting a good seed for future conditions. When you open your mouth to speak kind words, you are cultivating that real condition to grow. When you act to help others without expectation of return, you are creating the best conditions for that seed to bear fruit. Conversely, when you hold a mind of anger, you are also creating conditions conditions of unrest and suffering will find their way to you. Causality, though, is not a grand event. It is a key, continuous chain of interaction. Therefore, do not ask if you can create conditions. Ask, what kind of conditions am I creating in this very moment? Mindfulness. In every thought, that is the most genuine and powerful act of creating conditions in your life. My child, when people do not understand causality, they live in worry and blame. When they encounter undesirable events, their first reaction is often to complain and lament. Why must this suffering happen to me? They see difficulties as a cruel punishment from some force. But when you understand that causality is not random or a trick of fate, you will stop asking that question, my child. Causality is never a punishment. Causality is a clear and honest mirror. It reflects back the seeds, the energy that you yourself have sown and released into this world. If you have sown seeds of carelessness, of haste, then when the fruit comes, you must face loneliness or stumble. That is not punishment, but an opportunity for you to clearly see how those seeds have grown. The mirror of causality pensante always appears so you can learn, so you can adjust your way of sowing. If you see a bitter fruit, you know that next time you need to choose a different seed. If you see sweet fruit, you understand that you need to continue nurturing the good seeds you have sown. The biggest difference between a person who understands causality and one who does not is the attitude. When facing suffering, the one who doesn't understand complains, pushing themselves into a vicious cycle of bitterness. The one who understands, causality, accepts, and then uses that acceptance as the strength to transform. Everything that comes to you carries a message, a valuable lesson. Causality, brings people and events to Bakaye. Illuminate yourself. Therefore, never fear when the mirror of causality shows blemishes, but be grateful that you get to see them. This understanding will help you stop being a victim of fate. You will become the master of the wholesome conditions. You create living in peace, knowing that everything has a profound reason, and that reason is in your hands. My child, people often think causality is about meeting others, an external connection. But I want you to see something more important. Causality is also an opportunity to meet yourself. When a great sorrow comes to you, when you have to face failure, or when a loved one departs, you are not just encountering an external event. That is when the universe creates a condition for you to turn inward. Every suffering, every challenge comes not to torment you, but to make you stop and ask, what cause did I sow? Through what action or attitude that I must learn this lesson today? The event itself helps you illuminate the hidden corners of your soul. If you feel lonely, that is the condition for you to realize you have not loved yourself fully enough. If you face betrayal, that is the condition for you to learn how to place trust more wisely and how to forgive. Causality is your silent teacher. This teacher does not use words, but uses the very events that happen in your life to guide you. The people you meet, whether they bring joy or sorrow, are all messengers who reflect your character and karma. Therefore, never try to run away from adverse conditions. Instead, cherish them as maps. They help you see the path you have walked, and more importantly, help you choose a new direction with awareness. Only when you bravely face and learn from these conditions, can you truly mature and meet the best version of yourself. My child, one of the greatest sorrows of people is when they have to say goodbye. They explain that loss with the phrase, "The connection must have ended." In those words is regret and a helpless acceptance, but I want you to understand deeply. Nothing is truly lost in the flow of all things. When you say the connection ended, you are viewing everything from a limited perspective, based only on physical presence. You think that causality is about possession, but a connection is not something you can hold on to forever. It is an interaction with a purpose. A relationship concludes, a job leaves you, a beautiful period of time has passed. That is not a loss, but a sign that the lesson of that condition has been completed. If a person came to teach you patience, when you have finished learning, their role will also end. If a job came to help you train a skill, when that skill is firm, that condition may naturally dissolve to make way for another challenge. Separation is only the outer form of completing a cycle. Instead of sinking into a feeling of loss, practice gratitude. Be grateful that the connection came, gifted you experience and wisdom, and now it departs so you have enough space for new conditions to follow. Nothing truly ends. There is only continuous transformation. When you look at separation with the eyes of learning, you will see that there is nothing to regret, only continuation and growth. My child, continuing the idea of loss, I want you to understand more clearly the nature of endings. When you say, the connection has ended, you think it is a door that is slammed shut, never to open again. But in the flow of life, there is no absolute closure. The end of a connection is not an end, but another form of continuation that is taking place. When a flower falls, that is the end of that condition with the branch, but it is the beginning of a new condition with the soil, with the grass, and with new life. The flower does not disappear, it transforms into nutrients. Similarly, even if a relationship ends in separation, the influences and lessons it left behind continue to live in your heart. The patience you learned, the altruism you practiced, or even the wound you went through, all become factors that shape the person you will be tomorrow. Continuation is not necessarily reunion. Continuation is when the energy of the old connection becomes the foundation for the new one. The good seeds you sowed in the old connection will bear fruit in the new one, under a different form, perhaps a new friend, a career opportunity, or a new inner strength. Therefore, do not fear endings. View every ending as a transition. It is a river flowing into the ocean, not to disappear, but to merge into a greater ocean where it will again evaporate and become rain, creating new rivers. Accepting this transformation is living in harmony with painte. Causality. You will see that every ending carries a promise of a fresher beginning. My child, the petty connection between parents and children is one of the most sacred and deepest bonds. People often see the birth of a child as natural, but with the eyes of awareness, you will see that this meeting begins even before that soul enters the body. There is no randomness when a soul seeks a specific home, with specific people. This custom, connection, is the key convergence of countless causes that have been sown over many lifetimes. Every child who arrives carries a mission to an accompanying covenant. Some children come to be cared for and protected, to receive the love they once gave. Some children come to repay gratitude, bringing joy, prosperity, and comfort to their parents in their later years. And some children come with difficult contrary temperaments to help their parents relearn the fundamental lessons of love, of patience, and of letting go of attachment. This connection is a deep shared karma. Both parents and children are perfect pieces for each other's evolutionary journey. The difficulties in this relationship are not punishment, but an opportunity for both to heal old wounds together. When parents understand this, they will no longer force or blame their children, but will look at them with the eyes of appreciation. They know that the child comes not to belong to them, but to complete a sacred covenant with them. Live with gratitude, say, for this connection. For it is the place where you learn about selflessness, about a love greater than all definitions. My child, people often get stuck in two states, either regretting going connections that have passed, or waiting for the fateful ties people to arrive. They place the causality in a distant place, out of reach of the present. But I want you to transform that view. Causality is no longer something you have to wait for in the future. Causality is what you are experiencing and fully living in this very moment. Every breath you take in, that is the condition of the air, of the green trees, of your lungs. Every step you take, that is the condition of the solid ground. The moment you listen to my words, that is the condition of stillness, of your ears, and of your open heart. Every moment is a new condition arriving. It comes to invite you to be a little more aware, to realize the preciousness of what is existing. When you stop searching, you will see that bhakti, causality, has never left you. It is the flow of life. You only need to merge into it with an alert mind. If you are washing dishes, your tetsuai condition is the cool water, the clean bowl. If you are working, your kapkishit condition tio is concentration and creativity. K. Living in causality is living fully with what is happening without escaping, without clinging. When you focus on creating good causes in the present, through compassion, through attentiveness, then good conditions will automatically converge. You do not need to worry about the result or the arrangement of destiny. Living fully in this moment is living with the strongest causality. That is how you maintain peace, because you know that everything you need is already present, and everything you sow is being nurtured. My child, love is the connection that people spend the most energy searching for and trying to explain. They believe that love is intense attraction, a way to fill each other's shortcomings. But I tell you, the connection of love is not just momentary attraction. It is a rare opportunity to see the deepest parts of yourself through the other person. Two people meet not to fill the empty spaces in each other's lives. They meet to recognize and accept the missing parts, the unhealed parts in their own souls. The person you love is often a mirror, reflecting what you need to learn. If they bring impatience, that is the condition for you to learn calmness. If they bring hurt, that is the shanbush condition for you to learn forgiveness and self-healing. When you love, you see your own fears projected through the other person's anxieties. You see your patience challenged through their mistakes. Therefore, do not search for a perfect other half to make you happy. Seek a companion who is willing to face their own imperfections with you. The highest purpose of the Bahat connection of love is for two souls to evolve together. This key connection then helps you break down the personal ego to open your heart to a vast love that transcends selfishness. Cherishing the connection of love is not about holding on to the other person tightly, but about appreciating the growth that the relationship brings to yourself. My child, when people go through a beautiful match connection that ends in separation, they often carry a question full of regret. Why are wholesome connections, beautiful loves, often so short-lived, venerable world-honored one? I smile, because that question stems from an incomplete perception. People only see and cherish the beautiful part of the connection, the joy, the harmony, the happy moments. They forget that a true connection must include the opposites, the challenges, and the scratches. True connection is not a box full of sweet candies. True connection is a door opening to maturity. If a connection only brought ease and satisfaction, it would not help you learn about patience, tolerance, or inner strength. It is precisely when difficulties and conflicts appear, when you have to face differences and learn acceptance, that the chi connection fully fulfills its value. Some connections need to end quickly because the lesson of letting go they bring is the most important one. Short-livedness is not failure, but the completion of the task at the right time. It frees you from bondage so you can move into the next, deeper lessons. Therefore, do not only look at the duration, long or short. Look at the wisdom you have gained. Those beautiful, but short-lived connections. Fulfilled their duty. They brought light, and then they brought the lesson of darkness so you would know how to light your own lamp. Be was grateful for the short duration as well, because it is a sign of transformation. My child, the greatest fear of people is the fear of losing what they cherish, losing loved ones, affection, familiar connections. They cling and suffer when they see everything drift away. But when you have truly understood the law of causality, you will see that nothing in this world can be truly lost. If you cling to form, you will see separation. But if you look with wisdom, you will see that everything is only changing form. Just as water can be vapor, liquid, or ice, the essence is still water, only the form changes. A person leaves you, their physical body may no longer be present before your eyes, but the boss energy, the lessons, and the love they left behind remain intact in your soul. The good things you sowed for them, or the good things they sowed for you, all become the eternal assets of the stream of life. Separation in causality is the Yeshua transformation to retain the lesson. When you no longer cling to the form of the relationship, you will see that person still continues in the choices you make, in the kindness you learn from them, in the memories that cannot be erased. The fear of loss is merely the clinging of the ego that wants to possess. When you realize that every phenomenon is a convergence of conditions, you will understand that the dissolution of conditions is natural. Let everyone and everything go when it is time. Letting go of attachment to form is how you retain the full essence of that connection. Living in this relinquishment, you will no longer be afraid. You will know that the most valuable thing is not the external presence, but the continuation of wholesome qualities within your heart. My child, to clearly see the nature of saying the causality, you do not need to look far, you only need to look at a blossoming flower. The blossoming of a flower is not the sole achievement of that flower. It is the convergence, the wonderful interplay of countless causes and conditions. For the flower to bloom, it needs the cause of a seed, but that seed needs the conditions of soil to root, water cooling to permeate, sunlight for photosynthesis, time to mature, and the absence of pests. If even one small condition is missing, the flower cannot bloom. The existence of a flower is a powerful statement about the interdependence of all things. It is proof that nothing can generate itself and exist independently. And when the flower has fully bloomed, when it has completed its glorious mission, it will also naturally return to the earth. That is the ending of one condition, but the beginning of a new one. The condition of decomposition, becoming nutrients to feed other seeds. This is the beautiful cycle of causality. It teaches you that everything has its time, a time to converge to arise, a time to dissolve to perish, but no time is truly a loss. Look at your life also as that flower. You, too, are the convergence of countless conditions. The Gita conditions of parents, friends, food, and air. Live gratefully and fully with the conditions nurturing you now. For when conditions are complete, you too will return to the earth, beginning another stream of continuation. My child, a deep understanding of uncausality will bring you an incredibly precious quality, true humility. People often tend to glorify themselves, claiming that they self-possess talent, success, or health. They easily forget the resources that supported them on that journey. But when you look through the lens of causality, you will see that no one can self-possess anything. We are all the result of countless interconnected relationships that are supporting and interacting. Your intelligence is the condition of your ancestors and the teacher who instructed you. Your health is the condition of the clean air you breathe, the water you drink, and the person who planted the food you eat. I myself, sitting here under the Bodhi tree, am here thanks to countless conditions of stillness, compassion, and perseverance. When you realize you are living thanks to the key conditions of countless other things, arrogance will naturally vanish. In its place is a key, deep appreciation. Humility is born from this truth. It helps you never be proud of success because you know you are only a small part of a vast stream. It helps you not despair over failure because you know you still have many other wholesome conditions waiting to be cultivated. Live with this. Humility. Bow and thank everything that acts as a condition for your life. Humility is the best soil for you to continue sowing seeds of compassion. My child, the final thing I want you to understand about causality is your true nature. People often think they are an isolated entity, a separate self, detached from everything around them. It is this misperception of separation that creates suffering, loneliness, and fear. But in the teaching of Amandi, dependent origination, I clearly point out, there is no separate me. The me you call yourself is only a name, a temporary aggregate of the five aggregates of countless physical and mental factors. Causality is the truth that all things, all people, all thoughts are shakesh, interconnected relationships weaving into, overlapping each other, forming one great stream of life. You are the condition of your parents. You are the condition of the food. You are the shishan condition of the people you have met. When you are sad, that sadness is the condition of a thought that arose, of a memory that returned. When you look at life with the eyes of this babakwa interdependence, you will no longer see hatred, because the person you hate is also a part of the condition that helped you realize the limits of your own compassion. Everything is an inseparable component of the tapestry of life. Life is a ceaseless dance of interaction where your every movement affects the dance of others. Live like a river, not fixed, always flowing and always merging. That is how you live true to your actual nature, an inseparable part, a marvelous connection, creating the eternal stream of life with all things. My child, this is the greatest gift that a deep understanding of what causality brings to your life. When people live in ignorance, they always look for a place to blame for the suffering they encounter. They blame others, fate, or circumstances. They also often live in a state of waiting for a miracle, a perfect connection, to arrive from outside to solve all their troubles. But when you have truly understood that causality is the convergence of cause and condition, and that you are the one planting the cause, then you will see you no longer have a reason to blame anyone or anything. Everything that comes is a result. Once you understand the result, you must accept it with serenity and immediately shift your mind to Action. Acceptance is not surrender, but the beginning of conscious action. You will stop waiting for a good condition to just fall from the sky. Instead, you will start sowing and cultivating right on your present ground. Sowing is not only a grand act, sowing is maintaining a kind intention when facing others. Sowing is maintaining an attitude of gratitude for the meal you are eating. Sowing is a small effort to make the world around you a little better. Causality is not meant to be passively yearned for. Causality is meant to be created by a mind that is clear, proactive, and full of compassion. Become a wise farmer. Choose the best seed, wholesome thought. Nurture the best soil, kind action, and wait patiently. When you consciously cultivate like this, favorable conditions will naturally find their way to you without you having to seek or wait. My child, together we have clearly seen the true nature of causality. Causality is not the ultimate destination that will bring you happiness. Instead, causality is the method, the subtle path, by which happiness can truly find its way to you. When you live with a soul fully aware of causality, you no longer have to chase external illusions. You know that happiness does not lie in possessing a certain connection, but in the sharp quality of the causes you are sowing every day. When you live out there authentically, what your mind thinks, your mouth says, and your hand does, you are creating a pure energy field. This authenticity is the strongest conditioning seed, inviting the best and most suitable things to come to you. Happiness is not the absence of suffering. Happiness is the ability to transform suffering. Causality brings difficulties so you can learn transformation. Causality brings joy so you can learn appreciation. My child, I do not advise you to force conditions or abandon them. I only advise you to live mindfully in all connections. Do well with your present cause through compassion, through listening, and through letting go. When you live fully in the flow of causality, like this, you will see that everything is naturally arranged. Remember my words. Causality has never left. Causality is life itself. Living with gratitude and awareness, you are creating the most beautiful conditions, guiding you toward the shore of true peace.